All right, and now we are going to, well, I at least am going to read a transcription of what happened on the AEW Collision program on Saturday night, October 21st, while I was watching my man Svengoolie on MeTV. And you have some element of live experience of this program while it was on in the background. And it looks like it's something that was best left in the background, according to what I'm reading. But it looks like Bryan Danielson and Andrade had a very lengthy, very competitive match with a lot of moves in it.
Yes, that would indeed be correct. And the crowd, reminiscent of a crowd from Tokyo many years ago, sat in silence, intently watching good portions of it. But there's nothing wrong with that if it's actually good action. But it's not a match. You know, it's not a thing with heat. Heat's not really something that exists here. It's just an athletic contest that you're going to enjoy.
Kind of like a tennis match between two people that you don't really have a vested interest in either way. You're kind of watching the ball go back and forth.
Or a tennis exhibition.
Even better. Now they're in Memphis, Tennessee. But they're at the FedEx Forum, which is, I guess, still the big building in town. And they ain't been doing so hot lately. So was it a case of a piss hole in a snowbank crowd kind of contributing to the funereal atmosphere in the arena, or they just well, because I guess afterward there's two baby faces because they shook hands and held each other's hands up after the match. Am I correct on this?
That's right. In appreciation for the hard fought effort. There was an appreciation.
Hard fought effort?
There was an appreciation between the two parties.
Well, good. Because at least they had some sportsmanship before apparently now, from what, again, I'm being led to believe by this transcription, the House of Black leader himself, Malachi Black, is back in control of the lighting system in the arena. Because the lights went out, and then they come back on, and Malachi Black kicks Bryan Danielson with a fucking kick, with a foot, and knocks him out, colder than a banker's heart.
This may have been the most amount of light. I don't know what you call it. Lights going on and off.
Light manipulation.
This is the most amount on one television show, and I tuned out before the main event match. So I don't know what happened there. And for the record, as of 19 hours ago, according to WrestleTix, there were 439 available tickets for Memphis, with a setup of 3,128.
Whoa!
And 2,689 were the amount of tickets distributed.
The FedEx Forum seats like 15,000, 16,000, right? Do the Memphis NBA team plays there? Help me?
It's a gigantic building. It's a big building. It's a big building. Well, and you know what doesn't help too? You see SmackDown the night before, they're packed everywhere they go, and they show it to you nonstop. And it looks impressive because you're like, man, the upper decks are filled up and lit. You don't see that in AEW. It's like the area they can show on camera is getting smaller and smaller by the episode.
Pretty soon they're going to have the overhead from like the ring light shooting down so you can see the first 4 rows are filled up around ringside.
Put the hard camera in the left corner. That'll be the sign.
Well, but there was more light manipulation. Because the lights went out, the lights came back on, Malachi Black is there, he knocks out Daniel Bryan with a kick, then the lights go out again, and while Claudio and Useless get there to help their friend too late, and then they come back up and Black is gone, but they're still there. And they must, why are you loaning Malachi Black your time travel machine?
No, that's not time travel. That's light manipulation. We just discussed it. That's Chipmunk's machine.
He's manipulating the lights, but just because the lights go out doesn't make you disappear. You've got to be manipulating some kind of time and spatial rules as well to be able to transmogrify yourself and transcommunicate yourself and transphobify yourself from one place to the other.
From what I understand, during his time away, which may or may not have been injury related, depending on who you talk to, He spent time with Tommy Rich, and he learned where to hide beer under the ring. So when the lights go out, he's not really disappearing. He's running under the ring to have a good time.
The Pabst Blue Ribbon. All righty. Well, anyway, then apparently Sky Blue beat Hollywood Haley J from OVW. I guess now OVW, they're supplying, well, I can't say job guys because she's not a guy. So job personnel for these efforts. I'm sure you like Sky Blue.
It's all right. They're kind of making her more heelish. I mean, the AEW women's division just runs around rudderless. I don't know what the hell's going on. What do you think of the idea? I guess this is 2 weeks in a row now. Shivani's now the lead announcer on Collision. Kevin Kelly is just the third guy in the booth.
What the? Well, unfortunately, since I haven't really noticed up until now, but now that you've pointed it out to me, if I ever see this program again, I'll never be able to. Why? Why would you do that?
I don't know.
You had a fresh, different announce team on the Saturday night show that you launched that was different than the Wednesday night, and it ain't the announcing team or the announcers or any individual announcer. It's going to determine whether they watch one program or the other. If they're thinking, well, more people watch Wednesday and Tony's on Wednesday, therefore it must be true that if we put Tony on Saturday, it'll increase the viewership. I think not.
Well, part of the problem, too, is it's not like, okay, give me the lead commentating spot on Collision. By the way, Shivani's doing what Jim Ross thought he did behind the scenes years ago, but it's not like he's just saying, give me the announcing spot on Collision, make me the main guy there, and I'm going to do a main commentator's job. He's still doing like David Crockett 2023. Just, oh, look at him. Oh, look at him. He's great. Oh, yeah. That's not good. That's not good at all. But, it pays to have the relationship with Tony Khan that Tony Schiavone has made sure that he's had.
Well, now we're not insinuating that he's gone down like a circus seal for Tony or anything.
I'm insinuating he's a stooge for Tony Khan, and he always has been.
Okay, well, it's different than being a stooge and
not just Tony Khan, but
a receptacle for any type of protuberances. Anyway, then apparently the Gun Boys, part of the gang bang bang gang gang bang bang gang beat the Outrunners. And are they called the Outrunners because they grew up without indoor plumbing, and every time they needed to go, they had to go out and run because it was cold? I'm stretching here. I'm reaching. Why are they the Outrunners? What are Outrunners? What do Outrunners outrun? Or is it an outboard motor type of situation? Did their gear explain this?
They didn't outrun the bad booking.
Apparently, they weren't very fleet of foot.
The guns are, though. I mean, there's so much wrong with AEW right now. And the Bullet Club Gold's presentation, I think, has, had some issues lately. But the guns keep getting better and better. And they're the type of team that they do a lot. And you can't take your eyes off them, but they have to be heels because they're so obnoxious and it works well for them.
Yes, I agree with all of that. Then they're very animated. But then, apparently, after they won from the Outrunners, the lights went out again. And there was a man in a devil mask in the back, and then the lights went out again. And then, I guess they went on. So now, why would this be MJF? Or if not MJF, who is this? And do you wonder if we're going to care?
It ain't MJF because he ain't going to Memphis on a Saturday. No, we don't know. We don't know who it is.
Hey, if Gridley's Barbecue was still open, I bet he would.
Again, if it's not, and we have no reason to think up to this point that it would be, if it's not Malachi Black, then why even do that here? Because Malachi and the House of Black had control of the lights in 2 other segments. So this is 3 segments where the lights are going off and on. This time the devil. So I guess either the devil or the House of Black. Are the House of Black under the devil? I guess that's part of the question you have to wonder now. Who knows? Who knows what this is other than bad?
Is there a room to rent in the House of Black so that maybe somebody else could come into the group that we'd be more interested in. All right. Apparently, Dave Brown, the legendary Memphis announcer, who's one of the nicest human beings in the world, was invited to come to this production, and they put him on commentary for a Memphis street fight match with Jeff Jarrett against Eddie Kingston. And again, this is why Tony's booking is much like you were talking about Impact's booking earlier, with a big budget and the ability to just do any whim that they want to do. But because Tony is an old video wrestling mark of these things, he's seen the Tupelo concession stand brawl. Jeff Jarrett's father ran Memphis. We'll have a Memphis street fight and have a garbage match with a bunch of fucking furniture and gimmicks and a bunch of interference and a bunch of blah, blah, blah. And we'll have all our talent involved in all of this chaos and lunacy for no fucking reason than except that we're in Memphis and the boss booker is a mark. And we'll make Dave Brown talk about it. Can you imagine what Dave Brown thinks about any of this shit?
Part of the problem is, even if it all had worked out perfectly, Dave Brown's an older guy now. Even in his younger days, he was not a screaming announcer. If you think of any great Memphis brawl, not to take anything away from Dave Brown, you think of Lance Russell calling the action. Oh, look at what's going. You don't think of Dave Brown doing that. That wasn't his role. And even when Lance left, it was Corey Macklin doing the arena matches and doing the brawls in the arenas, not Dave Brown. So you brought him in to do something that really wasn't his thing to begin with. He's a little more subdued now than he was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, obviously. It's like, we have this legend here. How can we use him in the worst way possible? Again, if you want to have him out there to do something, give him a match to do something. Why this match? It made no sense. And by the way, how many matches in AEW has your boy Jeff Jarrett had ketchup or mustard sprayed on him in the last year?
Because, again, Tony is narrowcasting to the... And I love the old Memphis tapes, right? But Tony is narrowcasting to the young fan who likes silly fake wrestling that has heard about the crazy stuff they did in Memphis 40 years ago and doesn't understand that this is completely the opposite of how it was presented and what it was done and why it got over and the whole 9 yards. It's just a display of chaos, which Jeff is happy to do, I guess, for whatever compensation he's being provided for being in the middle of all this shit.
Did you watch this at all?
No. I'm reading the recap. I haven't seen this shit. I don't intend to. It's been a family weekend for once. I'm spending some time with Stacy and Harley instead of fucking Tony and fucking Goofy.
Well, the issue is more Jeff and all of his people. This street fight, it ended up being Eddie Kingston versus 5 people. No one came out to help. In the ring, Eddie was like battling Jeff and Lethal and Sanjay at the same time with the Giant on the apron and Karen running around. It was almost too much happening. Even if you just want the standard thing of, I hate the heel, they won. Gosh Garnet, Gosh Garnet.
Dosh Garnet?
Gosh darn it.
You know what? Dosh Garnet was a hell of a fucking MMA fighter, I'll tell you that.
Out of Bulgaria, I believe. But it was just, there was so much going on. Eddie lost. It was really, really bad booking. It was a bad match, but the fact that it came down to Eddie Kingston versus 5 people and no one out there to help him, really bad stuff.
But it says he won.
He didn't win.
Oh, well, wait a minute. It says Jarrett covers for the pin and win, and then winner. I've read it wrong. All right.
Yeah, Jeff Jarrett won. And there are people who like, Jeff Jarrett's had such a great year. Yeah, because he's playing along with all the stupid shit, so people like the stupid shit like his stuff. His run in AEW is awful.
Well, why is that Giant there except to block the fucking sun on hot days? He does nothing, and people still run roughshod over the group with him standing there like a fucking giant pinhead.
Well, he took a guitar shot and he also gave Eddie a choke slam. And Jay Lethal was all over this. I mean, it was almost like Eddie versus Jay Lethal and Jeff the whole match. And then finally Sanjay had to get involved. And the Giant just randomly would appear and either take a guitar shot or deliver a chokeslam with Karen just running around nonstop. This is TNA. You want to talk about the TNA revival? This is TNA, right? This match was TNA personified.
Hey, let me ask you a question. We'll move on. If the Giant here, Zippy, and Eddie Kingston were both working for the WWE, and Zippy chokeslammed Eddie Kingston, would you ever see Eddie Kingston outside an iron lung ever again on television?
You know, I maybe in the past you could say no, but again, WWE TV nowadays with the feckless giants that even they've had.
Well, I guess you're right.
But Zippy's the most feckless of them all because he's been there a while now. Does he do anything? You're never getting anything out of him, it doesn't seem like. Where's the big India tour with Zippy as the main eventer?
I don't know if they've got compensated for making him the suits yet. Because you know he ain't buying those off the rack.
Eddie should have gotten that big security guard in the funny suit from last week from the Christian Cage segment.
I don't think that guy wasn't that big, though.
He was ready for action.
It was Zippy's having his shit custom made by Omar the Tent Maker.
This Jeff Jarrett stuff is so bad.
Well, I know how you feel about it, and I'm sorry to have to agree with you. It's like, again, another one of my children has disappointed me by turning to a life of crime.
It's everyone trying to hang on. The only way they do it is to play along. They saw what Chris Jericho did. Chris Jericho got it right. That's the business model. If you're an older wrestler and you don't have much going on, and Jericho had stuff going on, but if you don't have stuff going on, latch on to the younger wrestlers, agree with everything they do. Even if you don't, shut up, keep it to yourself, play along, do whatever they want. Tell Tony he's doing a great job. No matter what, even if he's not doing a great job, doesn't matter. He's a billionaire. Tell him he's doing a great job and that you just want to help. That's the fucking business model for too many older wrestlers now.
Well, speaking of doing a great job, did Action Andretti do one for Miro?
I wish you would have seen this. This was on mute because I had the Phillies game was pretty exciting, I have to say. And I'm a Mets fan. But Bryce Harper is a great player, and Schwarber is just hitting home runs all over.
All right.
This went way longer than it should have. This went through a commercial break.
No.
Yeah, it went a long time for this, again, the weird tease of CJ, the hot and flexible. I guess are they calling her hot and flexible CJ? I forget how they do it, but she's certainly hot and flexible in at least name. This thing went on a while.
C and Hot J Flexible.
This went on a long time. See, the problem with TNA now is AEW has taken the place of what TNA was, which is a place for people who left WWE to go and just do whatever the fuck they want.
Well, but so he didn't just squash one tackle pancake, our friend Action Andretti.
No, this went a while.
Oh boy. Okay. Apparently, but he still beat him, so what's the future with CJ Hot and Flexible and Action at this point? Is he off the list?
Well, Action, I almost want you to go back and watch this match if you have it on DVR. Jesus. It's fascinating because Action does all the things that people pop for, but they kind of just sit there and watch him do it because they're not invested in him at all. So it's kind of like, what was his name of Vince Young?
Yes.
Remember Vince Young?
Yes.
He showed up in the WWF. Forget what name, they changed his name to something else. In the WWF in '89, working like the opening match on shows, so it would be on TV. Yeah. And he would do things that you think people would get into, like flips and...
break dancing.
Well, he didn't really do the break dancing. WWE was smart enough to say, don't do that. But he did lots of flips and stuff, but no one cared. No one cared at all. And I kind of feel like that was the same thing here. No one was really caring about Action Andretti. They care about whatever this Miro CJ stuff is, because they want to see it go somewhere. But they don't care about Action Andretti. He got out of the camel clutch, and then eventually Miro beat him with the camel clutch. But before Miro left the ring, Miro exchanged a look with him, almost like a sign of respect. You lasted past the commercial break. I respect you.
Oh, gee. All right. So apparently now they've got FTR wrestling Bad Brown and Darian Bingston. And the match starts and the lights go out. And then they come back on and Malachi Black is in the ring. And then the lights go out again. And then they come back on and the rest of the House of Black is there and they beat up FTR. So now we have to apparently suffer through FTR being sucked into the vortex of whatever the spooky ass House of Dark Shadows bullshit that Malachi Black wants to do to express his fucking art is involving here.
Malachi's dropped the face paint. This is the way we get House of Black versus FTR and Edge. Also, of course, set up earlier, House of Black versus Blackpool Combat Club. The AEW booking is horrible. It's not just the comedy segments. The entirety of the show is booked horribly. And nothing's going to change.
Well,
but the lights went out 2 different sets of times in this segment on top of the other previous segments. It's bad. I mean, even Heyman didn't do that. Even Heyman. Look at the state of him in the mid-90s. Even he didn't do that.
Well, the lights go up, the lights go down, the lights go in and all around. You know, these things happen. And next, now they're going to have somebody now, a new wrestler, come onto the roster, and their gimmick is going to be whenever they appear, the fucking cable goes out. You just get a screen that says to pay your bill, call 1-800. Anyway, the main event of this thing was the AEW Tag Team Champions Ricky Starks and Big Bill, who, again, were not even a tag team until 6 weeks ago and should be the Shawn Michaels and Diesel of this journey through hysteria. But they faced Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Useless and apparently defeated them to retain the Tag Team Championship in what looks like a long and involved process to me. And then the House of Black come and beat them up.
Oh, did they? See, I didn't even watch the end of the show. Did they come out again?
Oh, yeah, it says, hold on here.
Did the lights go out?
Hold on. Sun goes down on a sleepy town. It says House of Black shows to attack as Malachi Black distracts the referee.
Distracts?
Well, I'm trying to read without my glasses on and my tongue got lopped over my eye teeth and I couldn't see what I was saying. So when Black distracted the referee, Starks hit a spear and a Rochambeau for the pin and the win. And so Starks and Big Bill, they've won the match, and then the House of Black beat up Useless, and then Bryan Danielson charged to the ring, but they beat him up, and then FTR came down, and then Starks and Big Bill got involved, and then here came Jon Moxley.
Jon Moxley? Where the fuck was he?
I don't fucking know. Well, he was out in the parking lot.
His guy got jumped earlier in the show. Where was he?
And then Ricky Starks apparently got hit with a big rig, and Claudio did the big swing. And, and they did a jump rope spot where Claudio was big swinging Starks and Cash was doing a jump rope spot with it.
How many people were in the ring? How'd they do that?
Probably about 47.
Boy, I really missed a lot of stuff apparently in the last few minutes of this.
Well, see, you can't take your eyes off it for a second. But that wasn't all, you know. That was not all, because then we had the Battle of the Belts, right?
Should baby faces be armed with flashlights in AEW going to the ring? After this many instances of the lights going out and, surprise, it's a sneak attack or it's the devil doing a video saying nothing in a mask, should baby faces bring flashlights to the ring? That way you'd always be protected.
You know, God dang it. I actually had little Cornette's Collectibles keychain flashlights a couple of seasons ago, and if I had still had those now, this would be a wonderful marketing idea. But yeah, I think Either that or just everybody get an outfit like Jeff Jarrett used to have in the WWF that would light up on its own. And that way, when they turn the lights out, you just hit the button on your trunks and your knee pads and your boots and maybe your elbow pads. They all light up with spotlights.
I know laser pointers are banned, and for good reason. Are flashlights banned?
No, as a matter of fact, I think the fans ought to start bringing flashlights because you want to be sitting in one of these big city sports arenas, even if there's not a lot of people in them, and all of a sudden the lights go out and it's pitch black and you don't know who these people are sitting next to you. How many pockets do you think are getting picked?
There it is. If I'm in the House of Black, I'm going to a different town every week. I'm working with the local pickpockets. Hey, I promise you the lights are going out at 8:30.
Yeah.
Meet me after the show in the back.
8:57, you got 90 seconds. Make it good. We'll split it up at the usual place.
If you need more time, we'll get Julia out here to distract everyone.
Oh, in that game, you can take all the time you want then. Send old Julia out there.
See, I like our booking in the House of Black better, where they're not really spooky people. They use this to steal people's money. It's part of a plot. They're really thieves in the night. This
is like the plot of The Unholy Three with Lon Chaney Sr. But anyway, but real quick, I know you didn't watch this, but they actually got, as a gift to them, another hour of national cable television time after what we have just described that they presented, the Battle of the Belts. And you want to know what they presented to the unsuspecting public, Brian?
I had an idea of some of the stuff, but I'd like to hear. I don't know the results. And by the way, I apologize for any noise in the background. The wind. God. It's a heavy wind, a mighty wind here today.
Oh, it's a heavy wind. It's beating the windows with sledgehammers. It's so heavy.
I thought it was my tinnitus. It was really just the wind.
Maybe it's your analitis.
Analitis?
Yeah, because you're so anal about your fucking audio there.
Maybe.
So they presented the AEW International Champion, our little puppy Pockets, against Long John Silver of the Dork Order. And of course, we know who won that. The mascot prevailed. And then they gave Samoa Joe apparently a 1 minute or less squash match with Tony Nese in defense of the Ring of Honor TV title. I'm not opposed to giving Joe all of the wins that they can. But again, it's a squash TV match on what's supposed to be a special, a quarterly or 6 times a year or whatever. Chris Statlander retained the TBS title over Willow Nightingale. And apparently the Acclaimed with Billy Gunn with the Memphis Grizzlies mascot beat up the former Jericho appreciators with a couple more of them in the corner because they're still a group, even though there's no reason for them to be together because they don't appreciate Jericho anymore. And that was the 1 hour television special.
That was the 1 hour to drive people off the network is what that was.
Ooh.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of that, nor will I.
But I mean, why are they doing this? That this is what he can come up with that he thinks is going to attract viewers for a special 1 hour primetime television program that they were given as a consolation prize for having to move networks. And now it's just meaningless matches with nobodies for the most part.
Well, that was Battle of the Belts 8.
And you know what? At that point, if I had been watching, I guarantee you at that point of the night, Brian, I would have been ready for a good night's sleep.
Who wouldn't?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. There is no better way to get one. What's the transition here? No better way to get a good night's sleep.
No better way to get one.
There's no better way to get some than to be on a Helix sleep mattress. That's it. Because why didn't we think of this before? Because not only we've been talking about the good night's sleep that you can get with a Helix sleep mattress. We've been talking about for months and months and months now about the fine different models that they have for the big and tall sleepers, the mattresses for kids, the Helix Elite collection, the award-winning Luxe collection. They'll heat you up. They'll cool you down. They will do all these things, but we talk about it like you're going to be on this thing alone. Why don't we talk about the incredible array of mattresses that they also have for bedroom Olympics? I mean, you get these mattresses. The mattress for the big and tall sleepers, obviously, is going to be able to support more than the average human being. So if there's two of you doing the flip, flop, and fly, and you get some air on that last one and you bounce down on the mattress, Brian, you don't want to break one of these normal store-bought mattresses, but these big and tall sleeper mattresses, they will stand up to some punishment. Let's say you're doing a horizontal bop with a mango twist at the end, reverse cowgirl style, and you know that that's just going to wear the springs out of most ordinary mattresses, but not a Helix Sleep mattress, because they are built by award-winning professionals from the United States of America, where they know how to build up mattresses that'll stand up to a good fucking. So again, folks,
and of course, don't forget, beyond the perverted mind of Jim Cornette, sleep. Lots of people like to sleep on these mattresses.
Lots of people like to sleep after they bump uglies on a beautiful Helix Sleep mattress.
Beautiful, that's right. That is the word. Beautiful mattresses. Of course, they come firm. They come soft. They come prepared for you.
That's
you take a sleep survey.
That's the people sleeping on the Helix Sleep mattresses. They come firm. They come soft.
I'm talking about the mattress itself. Of course,
and here's another thing. Do they have a style of mattress where you can roll off to the side and retch and vomit before you go to sleep? One of those little grooves right in the middle so you won't go head first to the floor. That's for folks who like to engage in the occasional sociable cocktail out and about in the evenings. But nevertheless, folks, whatever you're going to be doing on these mattresses,
like
the
sleep.
Folks at Helix,
like sleep,
you can do that too. You can conk right out right after you've flogged the bishop, whatever the case may be. But all you got to do, folks, right now is go to Helix, that's Helix, helixsleep.com, and you take the 2-minute quiz on what kind of positions you like to sleep in, or what kind of positions you like to do.
What kind of positions you like to sleep in, how you like to sleep, how you like your mattress. Do you like firmness? Do you like softness? Do you like heat? Do you like cold?
Throbbing hard?
However you like your mattress for a good night's sleep, a spectacular, splendid night of sleep, you can get it from Helix Sleep. We love them here. For the record, I should probably disclose this. We have a few different Helix Sleep mattresses here in the house. The kids love them. We love them. And I got their beautiful all-form couch in the library. That is my nap couch of choice. Helix makes good stuff.
Can you have perverted and non-monogamous relationships on the couch too?
What?
Well, nevertheless, folks, you go to helixsleep.com, you take the quiz, you pick out the mattress you want, and they're going to deliver this bad boy right to you. Right then, you can put it into your bedroom. You can put it anywhere you want. The living room, the dungeon, maybe even in the bathtub. Bedroom. It certainly makes taking a bath a little softer.
Bedroom sounds like the best bet. And of course, everyone needs a good bed in their bedroom. And there's no finer bed you can get today and watch inflate in front of you than Helix Sleep's fine Helix Sleep mattress.
That's right. And 97% of the people polled indicated that they had a bed in their bedroom. So, folks, right now, if you go to helixsleep.com/JCE, they're offering 20% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners right now. And they're holding these pillows right now. They're waiting to shove them right in your face and just love on you with them. They'll just hold them right over your face. Tell you, they'll mash down.
No. Metaphorically speaking.
Until you take them.
Metaphorically speaking, maybe, but in terms of physicality and the physical world, there will be no pillows held over your face. There'll be fine pillows under your head while you sleep on your fine Helix Sleep mattresses will be under your bum and have a good night's sleep with Helix Sleep.
If you want to sleep with a bum on a mattress, go to helixsleep.com/JCE, 20% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners. You can't beat that with a stick, Brian.
No, you can't, nor should you, but you should get a good night's sleep with Helix Sleep, a fine mattress. What's the promo code one more time, Jim?
helixsleep.com/JCE. You mean you can't beat these things with a stick anymore?
You can get a good night's sleep that will be splendid and spectacular.